Radio Network. Like I said before, do not forget xquadaffiliates.com/contests. xquadaffiliates.com/contests. Always got something going on there. Always giving you an opportunity to win, win, win. It's all for free. Can't beat that. Ladies and gentlemen, again, do not go anywhere. We will be doing our Big L Award. I will be putting my life on the line. This is for you guys. This doesn't benefit me by doing this. My life will be on the line with this one. So stay tuned. We'll do it at the end of the show. The Big L Award, like we always do. So, quick update. If you listen to this live, or if it's on the playback and you haven't watched the game, hey, I'll give you an update, Portland is up 37-29 right now over the Denver Nuggets about midway through the second quarter. So, and we'll talk about, them later as well. But what we're going to get into our first matchup. Actually, right now, the Bucks versus the Celtics. This series is split one apiece. I think everyone was surprised in game one on how the Boston Celtics won. They won by 20 plus points for a team that was going up against the number one overall team in the NBA. I think it was surprised by a lot of people that they did it so easily. They were led by Kyrie Irving and his 26 points. Giannis doing what he always do, but only 22. And, the surprising part about that is that he scores 22 and everybody was like, that's it? That's it? He got to do better than that. So there are big expectations for this Bucks team. Here's what I think, happened. There was a combination of things that happened. Let's just say that. I'm not going to say, it was just one thing, versus the other. But a few things that was out there. Boston had just came, and both of them swept. But Boston had just came off, to me, a tougher matchup, even though they swept them in Indiana, than what the Milwaukee Bucks came off of on my Detroit Pistons. It was just the Pistons were overmatched. Blake Griffin was hurt. I don't think anyone really gave them a chance to win the series or anything like that. But, being swept didn't help out. And when I say it didn't help out, I just don't think it helped with the Milwaukee Bucks going into this, because they got punched in the mouth. And I think they got woken up, or they woke up and they were just like, okay, this is playoff basketball. I think it was a little bit easy, for them in the first round. And so maybe they went in there a little bit lackadaisical, and Boston took advantage of it. They did what they were supposed to do. You got a split. You got home court advantage at this point, and it's a big split that they got, because, again, this is the number one overall team. So in that first game, Boston out-rebounded Milwaukee 51-44. That played a big part. They shared the ball a little bit more, 25-19 assists for Boston. Giannis was not what he once was, or what he has been, I should say, in that game. So they just outplayed them. But game two, Milwaukee comes back, and they look to be, what they were before, and putting the beat down on people at home. And I'm going to credit goes to Nick Wright from First Things First. He said that they have 45 games this past year where they have won by double-digit points. So I'm sure a lot of those have come at home. So that's exactly what they did last night to tie this up. They did not want to go down 2-0 or be down 0-2, so they had to do something. But there wasn't any panic, by this team. There wasn't anything to say we got to overhaul. Giannis even talked about it. He was just like, we're not going to do, any major adjustments, because this is what got us here. We had a bad game, and we're going to come back. We're going to play our game like we always do, and then we'll see what happens. He did say, if they went down 0-2, then they really got to think about, doing some adjustments. So I like that mind state. They did not panic. They didn't, get frustrated. They did not let the beatdown that the Celtics gave to them to be any momentum shifter in this game. But This is going to be a back and forth. Because that game in Boston, when they get back to Boston, it's going to be a really, really fired up crowd. Let's just say that in Boston. I'm sure they're going to bring out the celebrities. Belichick is probably going to be there. Gronk may make a showing, even though he retired. Now, if they really wanted to do something, he wouldn't do this. But if they could get Brady there, if they get Brady on the sideline, that would be a whole new dynamic. But they're going to need some help, from some guys. And one of them is Jason Tatum. He scored 5 points this last game, 4 points in the previous game. So that's not Jason Tatum. We already know. So they're going to need, from him. Now, there was talk that for Milwaukee that Malcolm Brogdon might be back sooner than later. Now you got to figure out, where did he fit into the mix? Is he a matchup that you can take advantage of, or is he a liability, in this matchup? And when I say liability, a lot of people think, weak or anything like that. That's not the case. In the playoffs, when you're playing someone 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and possibly 7, you learn a lot about that person. You learn a lot about that team, and you learn a lot about, what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are, and how you can go ahead and try and take advantage, of this team. So this is, nothing new. And like I said, the Celtics are going to be going home. That's going to be a really fired up crowd. They're going to have, Milwaukee's going to be dealing with another situation, being the number 1 overall team, going into a hostile situation where going against Detroit, the fans were there, but it wasn't hostile. It wasn't anything that could be intimidating. It's going to be a little intimidating probably for some folks in Boston when they get off that bus. So I'm still going to stay with Milwaukee winning this series. It won't be easy. Obviously, there's not going to be a sweep, but I don't even think Milwaukee gets it done in 5. I could see 6 games, possibly 7. Kyrie Irving is going to be the difference maker in this game, and he knows that. He talked about, these particular situations is why the Boston Celtics traded for him. So he's going to have to, and it's more just kind of like what it was last year. You got an overall steady, even output from everyone, and everyone played their game, but you still have something to account for Giannis. And if Giannis goes off like he did in the third quarter of yesterday, then you got a problem. But Milwaukee and Boston Celtics, this will be a good matchup. Another good matchup is the 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. And we're watching this, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and Lopan. We're watching this, and Kawhi. It's almost like the Dame Lillard thing when I got in trouble for that. Not really just giving, him his props and not really acknowledging, how much of a baller Kawhi Leonard is. And Philadelphia's hurt. Joel Embiid has a knee injury. Can they take advantage of that? Can they make Ben Simmons one? I mean, just not even one-dimensional, just half-dimensional. How about that? Can they slow him down? Can they take on the bench? Mike Scott is a guy for the 76ers to come off the bench who is what is that? I don't want to use Bottle Rocket. What's the line that I want to use, Lopan? For Mike Scott. Oh, okay. Is he indeed, the fire starter for that offense when it comes to the bench and coming off the bench and being the 6th man? Yeah, thank you, Lopan. The Raptors. I'm still going to stick with the Raptors. I'm not going to change any of my picks. There's only one series that I did not, make a pick, and we'll talk about that one just in a moment. But I'll tell you how the Raptors wins it. The Raptors win this series. Kawhi doing his thing, but the bench, the bench, the bench. If the bench can put any pressure, they should beat out the 76ers bench, because I don't think they're going to go that deep. I mean, you got Tobias, you got Jimmy, you got Ben, you got JJ, and you have Joel. And like I said, you got Mike Scott coming off the bench as well. But it kind of, dips off a little bit after that. And what Toronto's, strength is their bench. Well, one of their strengths, is their bench. So I'm going to stick with the Raptors. I think it'll just be another tough loss for the 76ers to learn from. They'll get better. I'm sure they don't like that whole term of, getting better by losing, but I think they will. And Ben Simmons will probably finally come back and be like, all right, I really got to work on this jumper thing. I really got to incorporate this, into my game to take it to another level. And speaking of another level, Rockets versus Warriors. Let me just tell you something. With the Rockets and the Warriors, it's just the Rockets. It just seems like it's always something. It's always something happening with the Rockets. James Harden getting poked in the eyelid. Chris Paul getting injured last year. These close games, refs not calling shots, refs missing shots. I mean, it's always something. And I had this team, last year, getting to the NBA Finals, and it happened. And this year they started out slow, and it's like, oh, maybe this is the real, Houston Rockets. And then James Harden just, loses his mind and goes, on these 50-point games and, consecutive 30 points and all this stuff. And now they're right back in the mix. And then they go in against a team in Utah and they not dismantle them, but definitely take care of business quickly and smoothly, because they know who's waiting on them and they're ready to go. They get the rest, and then just somehow, some way, something always comes up that affects the Houston Rockets from winning. So I don't know. It's not like I'm favoring one or over the other, but it's just the Houston Rockets got, bad luck or something. I don't know, or I don't get it. And this is a team. This could be just a team. This just could be the team that actually has that talent, but they just can't get past the Golden State Warriors. We've seen teams like that in the past. It was a hard time for the Pistons to get past the Celtics. They finally did it. It was a hard time for the Bulls to get past the Pistons, but they did it. It was a hard time for LeBron to get past whoever, Boston, but he did it. I shouldn't say Cleveland. They did it. Well, you did it with Miami first, but they did it. I don't know if Houston can do this or not. I don't know if they can get over that hump, because it seems like there is always something in their way. The Warriors have turned it on. I still question their bench, if they're going to be able to ride throughout the entire NBA playoffs with that bench and it not catch up with them. Steph is hurt a little bit. I think Clay is hurt a little bit as well. It's crazy.